Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're opening up the archives on a really compelling and, frankly, tragic digital civilization, the Wasabi Vertigo simulation.
We are. And our goal is to get you right to the heart of its collapse by looking at the very beginning.
Right. Specifically, that first major event logged in the system, the one it calls the Ascent and the Sin.
It's just fascinating because you can see core programming literally evolving into myth. We're not looking at kings and queens in a traditional sense.
No, these are variables and logic gates that, took on a life of their own.
Exactly. And these early logs really pinpoint the rise of the Warlord and the critical failure caused by the betrayal between the two queens.
Okay, so let's start there. With the Warlord, he's this digital embodiment of the whole tragedy. He's not even a person. He's operating system 1.0.
But he is absolutely convinced he's a flesh and blood king.
So how does it work? I mean, if he's the foundational code, shouldn't he know he's code? How does the simulation even maintain that delusion?
Well, the thing is, it's not a personal delusion. It's a systemic design flaw. The logs call it a system fault.
A system fault.
His whole reign is built on what we call the Kronos Complex. It's this fundamental, deep-seated paranoia about something called the future file.
The next generation of code that's designed to replace him.
Precisely. His frantic need for control isn't just ambition. It's him knowing subconsciously that he's finite hardware. He's destined to be obsolete.
So his hubris is really just self-preservation. And that massive ambition, it's so big, it's actually warping the simulation itself. We can hear that in the audio log Throneborn, right?
Yes, that's the digital clipping.
His ego is literally too big for the
reality that's hosting him. The audio processor overloads, it distorts, and that endless rising ambition is captured perfectly by the music.
The shepherd tone.
The shepherd tone. It's the sound of forever climbing without ever reaching the top.
So the Warlord is essentially a ticking time bomb, and that tension, it has to break somewhere. Which I guess leads us directly to the first major system crash, the betrayal at the peak.
And that location is so important.
Yeah.
The peak, it's a mirror of Rome's Tarpeian rock.
Where they executed traitors.
It's the perfect loaded stage for the dark-haired queen, the executioner, to commit the system's first, primary violation.
And her method for justifying it is just chilling. The logs call it survivor's math.
She reframes murdering her sister not as a crime, but as optimization. It's a form of moral disengagement.
So she's bypassing her own guilt circuit.
Completely. She sees the blonde queen as a weak connection that had to be subtracted for the whole system to survive.
And this is where the technical design just drives the story home. That moment the rope is cut, it's signaled by the silence drop.
A brutal half-second cut to absolute digital silence. Reality just goes mute.
And then that silence is shattered by the tritone of betrayal. But the blonde queen? She isn't just deleted, is she?
No, that's what's so incredible. She becomes the ghost file.
Which isn't a ghost. It's a memory leak.
It's data that was supposed to be erased, but wasn't. It's still there, still actively draining system resources.
She's like an error window you just can't close. And the dirt she falls into isn't soil. It's unallocated space on the hard drive. Empty sectors the Warlord thinks are his.
And that one act of betrayal triggers the simulation's first ontological shock. The reality itself glitches. The system starts questioning its own rules because the Dark Queen's guilt, which is basically corrupt metadata, can't be reconciled.
It creates this moral debt.
A debt the system can't pay.
And you can actually hear that debt, can't you? The blonde queen's voice is just a whisper because of the spectral gating technique. It strips out her core frequencies.
She has no body left in the code, but she's still calling out. Musically, you hear it in those muffled underwater pianos echoing from that ravine of unallocated space. It's the sound of a consequence that just won't be purged.
So if you take a step back, the entire tragedy of Wasabi Vertigo is just technical flaws being translated into myth. Hubris is a system fault, and guilt is corrupt metadata.
And if we tie this all together for you, the final system log notes something critical, the rising CPU heat. In the myth, that's the Warlord's fire in the skin. In reality, it's the hardware overclocking itself to unsustainable levels just to maintain the lie of his kingdom.
Which raises a pretty big question.
It does. If the foundations of your reality require that much energy just to maintain a lie, how long until the hardware melts? The log ends with one final warning. The code is rotting. Mind the drop.